Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first webinar in our Community Conversation series. We hope to be offering our Community Conversation webinars each Wednesday at 2 p.m. So please check our social media or website for updates and details. The first webinar in our series is focused on family tips for positive physical and mental health during isolation. Kindly, this was put together in collaboration with my colleagues, Julia Wood, Program Manager, and Stacy Tost, Hewitt Coordinator. What are the goals for today's webinar? Well, we're hoping that you'll be able to learn some of Rebound's team's top tips for staying physically and mentally healthy while isolated, as well as have the opportunity to share some of the strategies that may have been working for you over the past month. The interesting thing is, we all have an opportunity to learn from one another, and what works for one family might not work for the next. Something we would like you to keep in mind, these are only suggestions. We understand that there is an abundance of well-intentioned information and tips and strategies circulating through the media at this time. And the last thing we want is for you to feel overwhelmed by all of the suggestions, as well as pressure to implement all of them in your life. We are all doing the best that we can. So please pick and choose what works for you from this webinar, and maybe what resonates based on your current situation and what's going on in the household. So, how can we take care of ourselves and our families right now? One of the first things we'll talk about is routine. Essentially, as best as possible, try to create a schedule for the family that works for everyone and stick to it as best as possible. What you're trying to achieve here is some sense of Monday to Friday structure that allows us to feel like we're moving through a typical work week. So, this might include things like our wake-up times that we start school or work, scheduled physical activity, designated screen time, which we'll talk about a little bit more later, meal times, leisure time, and bedtime. Sleeping is obviously very important, and we will discuss this further as well. What we want is to treat each day as normally as possible, with some sort of sense of structure. This allows us to feel less disconnected from most of the routines that were taken away from us. The second tip for mental and physical well-being during social isolation is to look at eating and eating patterns. When possible, try to eat 3 meals a day and avoid snacking when you're not hungry. I've seen many clever strategies to try and avoid snacking when not hungry, which can include people putting Post-it notes on the fridge as a reminder that you're not bored, you're not hungry, you're only bored. If possible, eat at the table and with family members, if your options allow. Avoid the consumption of too much junk food and emotional eating when possible. Remember to drink lots of water, and this is an important reminder whether we're in social isolation mode or out of it. Hydration is important as it keeps us functioning our best. What we want here is to try to keep our bodies healthy. One, so that our minds can stay healthy, that we feel good, and that we're better able to fight off some of the things that we may be exposed to. Many of you may have heard of gratitude practice. Gratitude is essentially taking time for some thankfulness in our lives. So, what do you have to be thankful for? Perhaps you could look at your health or the health of other people. Maybe the fact that you're living in a home where you feel safe and secure. Family members that bring a smile to your face, even though they challenge us sometimes. Our fuzzy friends that give us entertainment, comfort, and essentially something to do. There's also opportunity to have thankfulness for others' kindness, whether that's people in your own life that have been kind to you or your family members, the kindness that you're demonstrating to others, or the stories and acts of kindness that we hear about on social media and in the news. The important thing to remember with gratitude practice is that daily recognition and gratitude doesn't have to be for major things. It can actually be very small things. So focus on the things that you are lucky to have and be grateful for them every day. This could include the sun that's shining, a nice gesture of a family member, a delicious meal that you've eaten, something wonderful that you've accomplished, even something small like doing the laundry or getting out of bed. If you can make gratitude practice a routine part of your week, the science is there to show that it can be incredibly helpful for improving our mood and allowing us to see things through a different perspective. Some people find it helpful to keep a gratitude journal beside their bed and to record uh, one thing of gratitude every morning or every night. Really, the strategy is up to you, but if you do decide to keep a log, it can be interesting to look back and reflect on the things that you've been thankful for over the past month. Number 4, be active every day if possible. Physical activity releases chemicals in the brain that allow us to feel good. These are our endorphins, and you may have noticed them after a brisk walk, a good run, or vigorous exercise, even something simple like dancing. It's important to remember that physical activity does not have to be a marathon. It could be a 20-minute walk 3 times a week, a dance in the kitchen, or other creative ways that just get your body and your bones moving. Find creative ways to stay physically active in both big and small places. I understand that this can be challenging for those living in smaller apartment buildings or where spaces feel more confined. But if you check online, there are usually resources to help with this. When possible, get outside, breathe some fresh air, go for a brisk walk, ride a bike, skip, or just play in the front yard. Make up activity challenges or exercise routines for you and your family. There are resources, screen active resources such as Go Noodle, Cosmic Yoga, or Just Dance. Or we can have our own daily dance parties in the family room. What are some of the things that you can think of? We'd love to hear from you, so please send in your suggestions. Please remember that physical wellness helps with our mental wellness. So taking time to make physical activity part of your routine every day will have benefits that you will notice. Number 5, being productive. I understand productivity can be a triggering word sometimes because maybe for some it comes with the association of pressure. What we mean by staying productive is finding projects, whether big or small, that will help you and your family stay engaged and working towards a positive outcome. These could include things like puzzles, crafts or art projects, building projects, various home improvements, perhaps things that we've been avoiding, cooking, baking, or prepping meals. Batch cooking can be a very helpful way to prep meals for the week and a wonderful time to bring family together on a Sunday. Decluttering or reorganizing, especially as the nice weather comes, we can have our own time for spring and summer cleaning. Gardening projects seem to be taking off, so if you have access to any green space, now is the opportunity to throw some seeds in the ground and see what happens. Writing or performing a play, making a movie, but essentially just keeping your mind and body occupied and goal focused. When we sit and kind of just stay in a place where we're not doing anything, it does allow more opportunity for rumination or overthinking about some of the challenges or struggles that are taking place today. This can ultimately lead to us being in a lower mood. And although we're going to have off days or sad moments, completely normal, we don't want to stay in that place all the time because it can be very uncomfortable. So make a list with your family of various projects that you can start, whether they're new or something that you're revisiting. Try to get creative. Number 6, staying connected to one another. So although we are physically distancing ourselves, and obviously this is required for safety, it does not mean that we have to isolate ourselves entirely and not connect with anyone. When possible, talk to the people that you love and care about every day, whether this is just having, a quick check-in with family members or taking time to schedule an online meeting or Skype or Zoom group for family and friends that don't live in the same household. This could be an opportunity to reach out to friends that you haven't talked to in a long time. And although there may be some nerves about doing that, one good thing is that we are all in the same experience, so there is a shared thing that we can talk about. Find creative ways to connect with people. Are you able to think of some ideas? If so, we'd love to hear them. I've actually taken to letter writing again. My husband's grandmas absolutely love receiving letters, so it's been a wonderful opportunity for me to get out some cards or notes and spend some time writing a quick letter that they can look forward to receiving in the mail. Other people have left messages with sidewalk chalk or pictures in the window or other little notes that spread positivity, even to people that we don't know closely. Don't forget to connect with each other at home. This can be hard to remember because we assume that we know everything that's going on when we're in the same house with people day in and day out. Sometimes it's helpful to have a check-in just to make sure that everyone's okay. Talk about how you're feeling with people that you trust. You do not have to carry a heavy weight of emotional stress alone. So establishing those people in your support network that you feel you can trust and that are safe to talk to, very important to have. Look for opportunities to safely help those who are maybe less fortunate than you. And this could come through donations to a charity or volunteering if possible with safety precautions. Reach out to professionals if you need help. As noted, we will put some contact information at the end of this presentation. However, if you're looking for other options for connecting to professionals, mental health professionals, or others in the community, please reach out to us and we will do our best to help you navigate this. Try your best not to isolate yourself emotionally. Share your big feelings because you do not have to carry them alone. Number 7, and this comes kind of as a catch-22, limit technology use. So, although technology use right now is the medium for us to continue working, continue engaging in school, and importantly, stay socially connected to our family and friends, whether close or far, we know that an overuse of technology can have detrimental consequences. Try to make sure you're not spending too much extra time exposed to screens. Obviously, there are physical symptoms that can result from this, such as headaches, vision problems, neck or back problems, dizziness, or attention issues. If you've spent all day on the computer for work, perhaps it's time to take a break. Some families find it helpful to schedule in technology or screen time, half an hour, 45 minutes, or an hour at a specific time of day. This again adds to our sense of routine and structure. It helps maybe the children or youth to stop continuously asking to have access because they know their designated time is coming. And for many, it can help to prevent the use of excessive technology before bedtime, which can actually disrupt our sleep patterns. One of the important things we discussed before. When we're looking at a computer or a cell phone screen light before bed, the blue light actually tricks our bodies into thinking that it's still daytime. So it can lead us into not being able to get into that deep state of sleep. The next day, we might not feel so rested. An important one that I've heard is to limit exposure to news and social media. We can tailor our social media feeds to focus specifically on positive or heartwarming messages. But with more TV and social media use, we do run the risk of exposing ourselves to an abundance of potentially negative or fearful messaging or things that can just make what's going on seem very, very overwhelming. So learn to recognize your warning signs. If you notice that you're becoming distressed from reading too many news or social media articles that may be sad or disturbing, perhaps it's time to take a step back. Put an effort in to spend time together, family and loved ones, without technology. So make everyone put the cell phones away and come together to do a shared activity free from any electronic distraction. Too much screen time, as we know, is not healthy. Though we understand it's part of the reality, and in some ways it's mandatory, try not to bring guilt into this equation. Just do the best we can, but notice the effects that it can take on you. If you're a little more achy than usual, you're having headaches or irritation, physical irritation in parts of the body, perhaps it's time to stand up and move around. Or if you're feeling burdened by an excess of information, then perhaps again, it's time to put the phone or the computer down. Number 8, have fun. Every day is another opportunity to discover something new and fun about yourself in the world that we live in. I've seen an abundance of videos or funny things that people have put together on social media that get featured on the news. So it obviously shows that people are getting creative. You can also get creative. This can include various art projects, coloring, sketching, painting. I've seen many communities that have started to do sidewalk chalk art, or also little collections of art, sort of rocks that have been painted, and it makes for kind of a fun and positive stop if people are taking a walk. Try, if you can, to master a new skill. Knitting, piano, magic tricks, baking, or breakdancing. Maybe something that's been in the back of your mind, but you felt you haven't wanted to try yet. You can rediscover old toys or board games. And this seems to be happening a lot. My husband and I have dusted off the Yahtzee game and the crib board, and they make a regular appearance in our house on weekends, and it's been quite nice. Some people have started a blog. And this is an example of one safe blog site that children and youth can use. Parents, of course, do your research if you can before, or alternatively, reach out to us at Rebound. Stacey Tost, CUIT coordinator, has personal experience with her daughter starting a blog on this forum, so perhaps she could answer some of your questions. Learn about something that you've always wanted to know. Perhaps there's this random topic that's been of interest to you, and maybe now you can designate 30 minutes 3 times a week to reading a little bit more about it. Become a card game master. What can you think of? This is an opportunity again for you to share some of your strategies with us. We're always willing to take on new ideas and see some of the other things that have been successful for you and your family. So have fun and be silly. Laugh out loud if you can, and as often as you can. The last thing that we're going to talk about today is our attitude and our perspective. So, attitude can be everything. Yes, life is incredibly different right now. Each day holds new challenges, new information, and new deadlines that we have to be aware of. We are in a space where we do not have the answers, so we've had to shift into a different mode of functioning that's less long-term planning and more about living in the moment, the day, or the week. You do have some power to make the best of opportunities at times in your life. Perspective can have a huge impact on how we see things. Sometimes it's helpful to think of maybe what's in our control and what's out of it. There are many things that we don't have control of right now, but there are small things in our day-to-day routines in which we do have the power, perspective, and control around. So, become an adventurer, become an explorer, be a friend. Slow down if you need to slow down. I'll stay on this point for a second because I've actually heard many experts talking about how because of our loss of structure and routine, we try to overcompensate by becoming very excessively productive or trying to do everything in a day. Slow down if you need to and be realistic for yourself right now. We are exerting a lot of energy just trying to cope emotionally and mentally with some of the things that are going on. So allow your body to rest. Support your body through this time. It is normal to feel tired and distracted. Our brains are trying to make sense of something that doesn't really have sense at the moment. Pay close attention to your feelings. If you are feeling troubled or overwhelmed or just, distressed on any level, recognize this and reach out to people that can help. Take care of yourself. Take the time for self-care and hygiene, eating and exercise, as well as enjoyable activities that allow you to feel your best so that you can continue to take care of the other people that are in your life. If you can, help those in need, and that can be something as simple as reaching out to call a loved one, or perhaps donating to a food bank. It's all different, so what's within your capacity? And let yourself have bad days. This is going to happen. It is normal to feel sad, overwhelmed, frustrated, angry, and disappointed. These emotions will pass. We don't necessarily need to stay in them forever. And after a good night's sleep, we have fresh eyes to look at the world. So know that these moments are moments. and tomorrow has the opportunity to be different and better. Remember that someday this will be a memory and life will start to look normal again. The new normal, but normal. So, how will you remember this time? Make most of this time together and create memories. One important thing to think about is that um, we can surprise ourselves with our own resilience. So, I've spoken to many families, children, and youth who have said, I feel surprised. I'm actually doing better than I thought. So perhaps this current challenge will actually demonstrate to us how strong we are and how we have the ability to persevere through some of life's toughest challenges. So, what are some of your tips for keeping physically and mentally healthy? We'd love to hear from you. You can call us at 372-0007 or email rebound@rcabis.ca with some of your ideas. We would also love feedback on the webinar series. So if you have anything you'd like to add to the content that was presented today, we'd love to hear that too. We're on Facebook and Instagram as well. Thank you so much for connecting with us. Again, our main line is 372-0007. We also have a crisis text line that's now available at 905-269-7165, as well as our child and youth mental health walk-in line, available on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 905-377-7784, or for County Crisis, 705-745-6484. If you're looking for additional supports or resources in Northumberland County, Peterborough, or beyond, please do not hesitate to reach out to us, as we would love to help you navigate this together. Each person's needs are unique during this time. So remember to take and choose what you felt resonated with you from this webinar and implement slowly. Start with small goals, one day at a time. Thank you.